This is Tim Hegarty with VTC C++ Fundamentals. Let's take a few minutes to talk about base classes. A base class is a class that other classes are derived from. So let's say that we have a base class of a printed document. A book is a printed document, so it is derived from printed document. Okay, so printed document is the base class. Book is the derived class. A paperback is a book, and it is a printed document. So a paperback is a derived class, and it is derived from what is now a base class to it called book. So book is both a derived class because it's derived from printed document, and it's a base class because paperback is derived from it. As you can see, there are bound to be properties of a printed document that will apply to a book. And then there's information about a book, like maybe an ISBN number or something like that, which would not necessarily exist in a printed document, but those members of book would apply to a paperback as we go down the list. And a paperback will have some members that it gets from printed document, like maybe pages or covers, front and back covers that books would also have. So this is how we work inheritance. Inheritance is the key word right here. And we have book inheriting things from printed document, and we have paperback inheriting members and methods from both book and printed document up the tree. So that's base classes. Now, what we want to also get in on here is public, protected, and private base classes. When we define a derivation, when we declare the new class derived from a base class, we say what access level that we want to make the base class's members in this new derived class. If we say public, the base class's members will maintain their original level that they had, whether they were public, private, protected, as they come through into the new derived class. If we say protected when we create the derived class, then the base's class members will also be protected, whether they were public or not. In their base class, they will now be protected in the derived class. When we say private, then all of the base class members will be private in the derived class. So they're all private as it comes down through. Now we're going to take a look at some code here, and there's a lot of other things going on in it. And when we get to our next chapter and we talk about derivation syntax, how all of this works, we'll get into this in more detail. But right now, I just want you to take a look at a little bit of public and derived, or derived classes, base and derived classes. So here we have a class called mother, and it has a public section, and that's the constructor. And this is a constructor with a slightly different interface, a constructor with a parameter coming in. And now here we have a new derived class. As you can see, this is a class called daughter, and it is derived from, that colon is what makes the derivation. It's derived from mother with the public class. So these things that are public will be available to daughter as well, these constructors. And when daughter is constructed, when you create a new daughter, not only will the daughter constructor be called, but the base class constructor will also be called on up the tree here. Now here we have a class called son that is also derived from mother, and here you can see that we have a son constructor with no parameters, and here we have a slightly different son constructor with a parameter. And what it is saying is that when the son constructor is performed, a specific base constructor should be performed. If you don't specify, like here in this daughter int a, the daughter constructor with an integer or with a parameter will be performed, but the mother constructor up here will be performed without parameters. The default will be performed. You have to override that down here. This is what we're doing. We're saying that when son is called and it receives a parameter, we want to make sure that that parameter gets passed on up. Again, we'll look at this in more detail when we look at derivation syntax, but that's what's going on here. And then we create new objects of type daughter and type son and return 0 here. We won't even bother to run this right now, but I just want you to see this is where the public, private, and protected base class and derived class keyword goes. So that's base classes and their access, public, protected, and private.